Hello, Flirties, and welcome to this brand new Flirtini with me, Benjamin, the flirt coach, signing on here at Flirt Headquarters. The conversation I have for you today is with just me, and it's going to be a little bit different than all the other episodes you've heard thus far, as it's my birthday and I'm turning 40. Oh my God. So, what I have for you is an honest reflection, a very vulnerable and insightful take about where I'm at in my life, what's going on, and what's coming. If that is of interest to you, please stick around. Theme song coming, and then the full Flirtini.
I heard you wanted to flirt. I heard you wanted to flirt. I heard you wanted to flirt. Hello, my name is Benjamin. I'm the flirt coach and a gay Libra. Everyone has an inner flirt.
Hey, Flirty.
Live, laugh, flirt.
Work the flirt.
Work the flirt. Delulu is the Salulu. Expert on the flirt.
Hey, Flirty. There's always another flirt.
Everyone has an inner flirt. Get out of your head and into the flirt.
All right, Flirties, let's do this. Where I'm at in my life at 40 years old, single and broke. Didn't think that would be where I'm at in my life, but here we are. But I'm not upset about it. Nope, not sad about it, not mad about it. None of that. It just is what it is. But let's talk about it. It's really interesting doing this work as a single person, where I feel like you oftentimes see coaches, creators, influencer types, practitioners, gurus, like whoever you're following, whoever you're looking to for relationship, dating, and even flirting advice, they kind of fall into two camps. One, you have the person that is in the relationship, and thus they can show you the transformation, right? They can show you the results. They can show you, hey, look, this is probably what you want. You want the relationship, you want the person by your side. I've got it. I can show you how to get there. I can show you what I did to get there. I can show you what it felt like to get there, what it felt like in the lonely moments, in the anxious moments, what it felt like in the highs and the lows, what it felt like for the first date, for the first kiss, what it felt like through the ghostings and the breakups. And look, I made it through. I've got the person. I can't show you that because it's not my life. I can't show you the result, the transformation, where here it is, I'm in the relationship. The romantic partnership doesn't exist for me right now. The other, I'll say, type of person I feel like we often see is the single person who's single and just dating themselves, right? Single and fabulous, single and they're traveling the world. They're on red carpets. They're eating the fancy dinners. They're wearing the fancy clothes. They create this really aspirational kind of lifestyle where, look, I'm single and not lacking for anything. I'm dating myself. I found myself. I love myself. I'm confident within myself. And I've got this fabulous life that I'm living. Come along on this journey with me. So I find myself in this really interesting position. And rather than focusing on what I'm not, what I don't have, what I can't offer you, what I can offer you is this really realistic and grounded experience of what it's like to be a single person, what it's like to be a single person and also manage your friendships, your other relationships with family, with neighbors, at work, all of it, and still date at the same time, what it's like to be pursuing a dream, what it's like to be working alongside building that dream. What I can show you is what the single moments are like. What I can do is show you what it's like to be single and yet not alone on your 40th birthday. What I can do is help you navigate and just sort through all of the dating advice on the internet, on social media, on podcasts, which is likely going to pull you in a lot of different directions. Do this, don't do that, right? Here's the fix, here's the cure, here's the thing to do if you want to get the person, the relationship, right? Get off the apps. I can do my best to help you make sense of it and see what's right for you. I can shed light into a lot of the experiences we're all going to have, as I've been dating for kind of a while. I've been in relationships in the past, and long-term relationships. I've even been engaged before, which I've talked about a little bit, and I called off that engagement because I knew it just wasn't right for me. And I know today I'm positioning myself and setting myself up for hopefully the relationship that is not just going to fix everything, solve all my problems, but that is going to be really mutually fulfilling, because no longer am I going to lose myself in a relationship, lose myself to be picked, to be chosen by somebody else. No longer am I going to be replaying, looking back through messages, staying up late at night, not being able to eat, not being able to sleep, not being able to drink, just because I'm so fixated, so transfixed, so hyper-focused in limerence with someone else, building them up, putting them in this fantasy, putting them on the pedestal, just looking to them as my savior ultimately. No longer am I going to have a lot of the experiences we have as single people. And also sometimes in relationships, of course, the hypervigilance, this hyper independence, this I don't need anyone, I can't trust anyone, I don't want to ask anyone for help kind of thing. I mean, part of being in a relationship is being willing to do all of those things, which may very well go against what feels natural and right to you, what is perhaps your instinct. Because, of course, at the end of the day, you just want to protect yourself. You don't want to get hurt. So, as a single person doing this work, I recognize what I am not, what I cannot offer you, and yet at the same time, recognizing what I am, who I am, and what I can offer you. And if you're here because you like what I got to offer, thank you so much for being here. At the same time, I got to recognize a cold, hard truth here at 40 years old. And that is, I fear I have a bit of an image problem where the business itself, the flirt coach business at this point is a failure. I told you in the opening to this Flirtini that I was single. We just talked about that. The broke part, yeah, pretty broke as well. It's why I work many other jobs outside of doing this, even though this is absolutely what feels like a full-time career. The flirt coach business doesn't make any money. The podcast has barely made me any money. Social media doesn't make me a whole heck of a lot whatsoever. All the offers you see that I talk about sometimes in stories, the link in bio, the links in the show notes for this episode, yeah, they're clickable. There's stuff on them, right? I got calls, downloads. You can email me, buy me a coffee, all the things. They're just not being clicked. And that's on me. That's something I have to take responsibility for. And ultimately, I love being a creator. I love being an artist. That's my true passion. I love even being a performer. There is a drive to get off of your phone screens, off of your laptop screens, to get out of your earphones and get on a bigger screen to do something in the entertainment industry. Absolutely. At the end of the day, I just want to create. I just want to help you feel less alone in this world, hopefully less isolated, less withdrawn, really help you just build up that confidence, that inner resilience to go out, to live your life, do the things you want to do, regardless of what anybody else says, regardless of what anyone else has said you should do, what you feel like you think you should do. Just live your life for you, make those connections, and do a heck of a lot of flirting. That's what I want for you. And to be able to do that with someone you love and really care about in a relationship, in an intimate connection, in a partnership, I feel just might make it, if that's what you want, all the better, because that's ultimately part of what I want too. Doing this work alone is really difficult sometimes. And I say alone in the sense that I know you all are listening, you're perhaps watching on YouTube. It's amazing at this point that the podcast has almost 200,000 downloads in barely a year and a half. Hasn't even been a year and a half yet. Almost a 500,000 followers, 500,000 flirties across social media. That's incredible. I mean, this is a true community globally. This is a movement, right? To get out there, to live our lives with more authenticity, with more just a little bit of that confidence, a little bit of that delulu, a little bit of that flirt energy, and I hope have a lot of fun along the way. And back to the business piece of this, I like entrepreneurship in many ways. What I don't like is constantly having to self promote, constantly having to market and create new offers, constantly having to sell you all, right? To be on your feed, to be on your inboxes, right? To be constantly driving and striving for views upon views upon views, all the while the goal being, yes, to help you date, but also for me, to make money. What I found is it cuts into the authenticity for me. It cuts into me really being able to just talk about sometimes what I really want to talk about. And that's one of the reasons, if you've noticed, I've really not been on your feeds lately at all on the socials. If you're following on the socials, I've been posting some clips from the podcast, promoting the podcast and stories. And that's really about it. There hasn't been just a one-on-one me talking to you video in quite a while. I've been just very, very stuck there in many ways, contemplating what comes next for the flirt coach and for my business, because the business isn't making any money. And when it comes to the image piece, I feel like, right, if you have the visual of me in my car on my break from the grocery store with the crew shirt, with the name tag, right, just dangling because it's a little bit loose, which is kind of a metaphor for my mind, to be honest. A little bit there, but also a little bit not there. So here I am in my car giving you dating advice, relationship advice, flirting advice. And then if you pair that next to a video that is perhaps a little bit more professionally done, let's say the situation, the setting, setting is a little bit more professional. They're in a studio, at an office, at a desk kind of thing. There's some better lighting, right? Better sound quality, and they're not in a grocery store uniform. Well, I feel like you might not necessarily like them more or like their advice more, but there is a little bit more credibility, a little bit more validity, legitimacy behind their message just because of the image that they have created. At least that's what I feel and that's what I think. And that's part of the reason why the Flirt Coach business ain't businessing. It's both my lack of wanting to constantly be selling to you all and my image. I don't know how that's landing. I don't know if you agree or disagree, but that's just how I feel. And so, what do I do with a business that's not making any money, right? Is it just about trying some new things? Is it about paying my dues, just pushing forward? Is it about just believing in myself more, right? Loving myself more? For me, no. It's about recognizing at this point, at least today, I don't want to run a business anymore. And so, what does that mean for the future of flirtations? FlirtTube, Flirt Talk, Flirtstagram. It means there's going to be some changes as the theme of the season. This came through in the conversation with Bernie on flirtation. And as Venus is entering Libra today, the theme is all about balance. And so, how can I start to bring more balance? And this is difficult because failure is such a hard word. It really is an absolute that something went horribly wrong. And I don't think it's something went wrong. I just don't want to do this. I don't want to run a business. I just want to create. I want to make videos. I want to make art. I want to make y'all flirt. And one of the biggest drives for me, I've talked about my mental health, past and present, on the socials a little bit here and there, but definitely in some episodes of flirtations where I have long struggled with not just my own self confidence, self love, being able to choose myself, date myself, all of that good stuff. But my anxiety, depression has been, like, in many ways, my best friends forever. They've been my longtime companions. They're the people, right? The aspects of myself that I've known for so long. And to struggle with your mental health, I mean, it's debilitating. It's not just a thought or a series of thoughts. It's not just a feeling or a series of feelings. It's a state of being, right? These things feel completely physical and they change all aspects of your relationships, the relationships you have externally with other people, the relationship you have with yourself, of course, the relationship you have with your heart, with your mind, with your body. And the one thing that always helped, just consistently, time and time again, helped me get out of my head, helped me just change my energy around a little bit, helped me just look forward rather than back, helped me be hopeful rather than hopeless, was making those connections, just forcing myself to leave my house sometimes, which I didn't do, for weeks at a time, just to run one single errand, just to go buy a few things to put in the refrigerator and my cabinets, right? And then just smiling at the person that was checking me out or asking a simple question, right? Someone's reaching for something on one of the shelves. Oh, have you tried that before? Right? That looks good. What did you think? Like, were these connections that anyone would remember? Not necessarily. And that's okay. They can be those in the moment micro connections, micro flirts, but connection helps you get out of your head and into your heart. It helps you get out of your head and into the moment. It helps you detach from just everything you're thinking and feeling, everything that has existed in the past, everything that may exist in the future. And it brings you right back to this moment. And at the end of the day, the moment is all we have. In the moment, you don't have things. You don't have money. You don't have title. You don't have status. You just have each other. And so I will never stop talking about connection and I will never stop talking about flirting ever. And so the flirt coach is not disappearing or going away whatsoever. The socials will continue to be a thing. Flirtations will continue to be a thing. What those things look like moving forward, Flirties, I am not sure. I am feeling a switch up, a change up coming on the socials where, yes, I'm going to continue to talk about dating, relationships, and flirting. I'm not just going to like completely leave you hanging. I feel like that's a big reason why a lot of y'all are following, and I'm going to keep delivering there in the very near future. And yet I feel a push to talk about me a little bit more, but not in a selfish way, but in a way that I hope continues to really deliver on this theme of connection. And also, part of my background is I went to school for sociology and geography. I went to graduate school for urban and regional planning. I was a practicing city planner for 11 years, and connection has always been a theme in my life. And so I want to talk about what we're experiencing socially as well. Collectively, what are some of the experiences we're having and how do they impact, influence flirting, dating, and relationships. See, it all ties back to flirting. Okay, so I think I've talked about being broke and single at 40. I've talked about a little bit what's going on in my life, what may be coming as I enter this new year, this new chapter, this new decade. What else do I want to talk about today? Oh, yes, one more thing, yoga. I'm really struggling there, y'all. I know some of these shares are a bit personal and vulnerable, but whatever, it's my podcast and I can do whatever whatever I want and say fuck and still rate this clean. Oops. So with that, I got to be honest. I feel like I love this thing, teaching yoga, that doesn't exactly love me back, where I have a couple classes at some gyms locally here that are doing pretty well. One is a long-standing class I've been teaching for almost a year and a half, and a really dedicated group, and I get so much from that and enjoy teaching those classes. And then the classes I teach at a studio, not many people are coming. I can look at the attendance from other classes on the schedule, and mine are definitely among the lowest, if not the lowest attended of all the classes in the whole studio. And I'm kind of left with this question of why, right? What am I doing wrong? What am I not doing enough of? I'm not sure where exactly I fit in. When it comes to yoga, I classify myself as a ground dweller, right? I want to keep my feet on the ground. I don't do a bunch of hippity hop inversion stuff. Not really my thing. In my classes, I don't cue headstands, handstands, none of that. We're keeping our feet on the ground pretty much the whole time. We're doing slow flows, breath with movement, holding our poses, our shapes, our postures for 3, 5, 7 breaths. And it's really hard to attend a class right before I teach and see the studio full and see the studio, right? All the students spill out into the lobby and have all those conversations, all those connections, all those kind of post yoga flow happening in the lobby. And then my class starts and there's 2 people. I'm grateful for 2 people, absolutely. And I'm going to give my all to those 2 people because it's about the intention. It's about how you show up in each moment. It's about the intention behind it. Because, like I said before, the moment is all we have. I'm also at a point in my yoga teaching journey where I'm not new at this and I want more. I want more students in my classes, not just because I can make more money and be less broke, but because I want to share what I'm teaching with more people. There is a different energy in studios when they're full. And so I had a fairly difficult conversation with a few of the studio owners, and a couple of takeaways I got from that conversation were, one, to rededicate myself to being a student of yoga. I had forgotten what it was like to be a student of this thing that has given so much to me, even as teaching yoga in some capacities, in some settings, I feel like is maybe taking a little bit more from me than it's giving back. I can rededicate myself to being a student first, where I'd really only been doing yoga if I was teaching it, and I forgot how incredible it was to just be a student. And so I have become a student of yoga again. And one of the other takeaways from that conversation I got was networking, selling yourself, promoting yourself, all of that good stuff, which, as we've talked about thus far in this Flirtini, I can't stand. I'm going to have to get over it and do it anyways, because if I want to teach a full studio, that's going to be part of it. And yet I am a very stubborn Libra, so we'll see just how much of that I actually do. All right, so what's coming? What's next? Well, I am going to deliver a new episode of Flirtation throughout the rest of this month, with new episodes dropping on Mondays. You've got your Flirtinis on Wednesdays. You've got your fall flashback episodes coming on Fridays. And then the first episode in November is going to be somewhat of a farewell episode, as there are no guest interviews scheduled on the calendar. It's completely blank. I want to keep this going. I love doing this, and yet I got to recognize, got to do better at taking care of myself and paying my bills. So I'm going to be picking up a 5th day, going full time at the store at Trader Joe's, which is going to cut down fairly significantly on the time that I have available to do flirtations. I'm also going to rededicate myself to being a student of yoga, which I talked about just a moment ago. And I'm really going to rededicate and double down on just my confidence and my fitness, my nutrition. I had signed up to be a certified personal trainer years ago when I first started my coaching journey, when I was just throwing everything at the wall, seeing what would stick. And so I have enrolled in this certified personal training certification all online that I never did. And I want to do it, not to be a personal trainer. I don't really see that for myself, but more so just to enrich how I can teach yoga, what I can offer, what I can talk about, getting better at some of the cues, being more specific about what we're doing and why and what it's for. And then the detaching from expectations piece, I want to see where this takes me, right? I want to see what this new direction and specifically what the intention behind it, where does it lead me? And with some of this perhaps extra time, I can start reading again, where there's a couple of books I've been really, really wanting to read. I can start spending more time with friends and family, which I just haven't done hardly any of for a while. I mean, every moment I have, every second, every breath has been dedicated towards building this business and building this dream. And I'm not giving up on it. I'm not giving up on you. I'm not going to just pull a bait and switch and all of a sudden disappear. But there's going to be a little bit of a recalibration balancing phase here, which is already in like it's already started, right? We're in the process of. So at this point in my life, I want to read this quote that was from a painting I got from my friend, a coworker, Randy, who was on Flirtations, who told her story of surviving narcissistic abuse. That episode in the upper kind of late 40s of the program. Really, really good. If you haven't listened to that, check it out. And she is an artist. I went to her art show last year. I'll be going again this year for sure. And the painting I got has this quote that says, "When nothing is sure, everything is possible." And that's where I feel like I'm at. That's where I feel like my life is at right now. In many ways, my life has never been more uncertain, and yet I've never been more sure about so many things. Nothing, it seems, right now is set in stone. Yes, I have routines. Yes, I have a dependable source of income. So, yes, there are some things that are certain and sure, which make being in this phase of uncertainty a little bit easier, knowing that I can at least pay my bills. And yet, in this phase of uncertainty, of feeling unsure, it creates an absolute infinite sea of possibilities. Truly, every single thing I dream of is possible. And I hope you feel that the same is true for you. When I quit my job 3.5 years ago now, sold my house, moved back home, and just put everything into building this business, I thought for sure, right, I'd be an overnight success. This would be easy. I'd have, right, just a full calendar, be booking calls left and right. And when that turned out to not be true and it didn't happen like that, I had to face some real truths about myself and why, what role did I play in this? How did I want to show up moving forward? And I feel like I've answered a lot of those questions over this 3.5 years, and where I'm at now. Never could have imagined this is where I would be 3.5 years later. And yet I wouldn't change a single thing. When nothing is sure, everything is possible. Thank you for being a part of this journey with me. I hope you'll continue to be a part of this. I am here for you to support you through your flirting needs, your dating needs, even your relationship needs. I am here for you. Thank you so, so much, Flirties. I really, really do appreciate it. Live, laugh, flirt, flirt on. Don't forget to flirt. There's always another flirt. Everyone has an inner flirt. Get out of your head and into the flirt. Signing off officially here at Flirt Headquarters. My name is Benjamin. I'm the flirt coach and gay Libra flirty. Happy flirting.